If you haven't heard of the show Fallout, based on the video game series of the same name by Bethesda, you might be living under a rock. That's okay, that's what I'm here for. But if you have seen the show, there might be a few things that you missed in the 8 episodes that they released for Season 1. We'll be going over all the little details from the show that help build the world we've come to love from the games. So grab yourself a Nuka-Cola, sit back and relax as we go through everything you might have missed in Episode 1, The End. Oh, and I think it goes without saying, this will include spoilers from the series and the following games. Without further ado, let's get to it. Right away, we are set in 2077, minutes before the bombs fall. We can see the birthday boy's mom bringing a cake out, and she passes by a robot that most would know from the games as Mr. Handy. Mr. Handy was created by a company called General Atomics to help humans with any and all household chores. A few seconds later, the mom is passing by the other moms of the kids at the birthday party, and they are watching the news, and we get our first glimpse into the war between the United States and China, happening here in the Battle of Anchorage. Now, the newscaster states that the battle has just ended, of the US getting their first great victory in this war. However, the battle lasted from winter 2066 to January 10th, 2077. And in the games, we see that the bombs fall on October 23rd, 2077. Meaning that there's a slight continuity error with the newscaster and the time that the bombs fell, as we'll later learn that October 23rd, 2077 is the correct date. And we learn in a later episode that Cooper Howard actually served in the military, specifically the Marines, and was deployed to the Battle of Anchorage sometime between that time period. Gauging for the fact that his daughter Janie is probably around 6 or 7 years old, it's safe to say that he served in the Battle of Anchorage between 2066 and 2070, before starting a successful career as a Western film star. This was a major battle that marked a turning point against China in favor of the US. When the dad is upset that Cooper won't do his famous Vault Boy thumbs up for the photo with his wife, we see that he's drinking a beer with a fish logo on it. This is a beer from Fallout New Vegas, only referenced in the games, but it's called Fishbrow Pale Ale. You can see it scattered throughout the party, even when they go indoors to eat cake and watch TV. After everyone gets a slice of cake and settles down in front of the TV, we see the newscaster starting to have a bit of a breakdown when he's talking about the weather. Birthday mom goes to change the channel, and quickly we flash through an ad for Nuka-Cola. This is this world's version of Coca-Cola, and in the post-apocalyptic world, the bottle caps on top of these drinks are used as currency. The channel settles on a cartoon of Grognak the Barbarian, a comic book series seen throughout the video games, more specifically in Fallout 4. And it's sponsored by Sugar Bombs, a corn puff breakfast cereal. When Cooper is explaining the adult stuff and why he wouldn't do the thumbs up for the dad, to Janie, you can see behind him a bottle of Sunset Sarsaparilla. This is this world's version of root beer. Those that played Fallout New Vegas are probably familiar with a quest called The Legend of the Star. This focuses on collecting rare bottle caps that have blue stars on them from Sunset Sarsaparilla bottles. And when you complete this quest line, you get the awesome Pew Pew laser pistol. Right after the bombs fall, when Cooper is riding Sugarfoot down the mountain with his daughter, we can see right in front of the mushroom clouds a billboard for Vault-Tec. 219 years later, we now fast forward to 2296, where we get to meet our first main character, Lucy from Vault 33. Lucy is sitting in front of the council reading off some note cards, listing all the reasons why she would be a great mate in the tricentennial mating ritual between the three vaults, 31, 32, and 33. For gamers, we know she is listing off her special skills. These are the skills from Fallout 3 and beyond that affect the style of your gameplay and what kind of build you want to go for with your character. They are Strength, Perception, Endurance, Charisma, Intelligence, Agility, and Luck. She referenced Intermediate Phys Ed, Strength, the Young Pipefitters Association, Perception, Gymnastics, Endurance, Teaching History, Charisma, doing science with her dad, Intelligence, Fencing, Agility, and Shooting, Luck. Lucy has a really high luck skill, and we can gather that from the fact that she says she's not very good at shooting, but when we look at her paper target, she's hit almost all 10s. While prepping for the wedding and getting her dress fitted, she taps the head of a Vault Boy bobblehead. Those who played Fallout 4 know that if you collect all the bobbleheads, they permanently increase certain stats on your character. When Lucy goes to see her dad when he's prepping for the reception of the wedding in the courtyard, he calls her his little sugar bomb, a reference to the breakfast cereal from earlier. Fast forwarding to the post-coital part of this episode, where Lucy grabs her Pip-Boy to check the radiation levels of Monty, we get to see our first look at the screen and the Pip-Boy itself. Of course, outside of Norm playing video games on it. Its layout and design are unique to the show, as they are a combination of two different Pip-Boys the Pip-Boy 2000 Mark VI from Fallout 76, and the Pip-Boy 3000 Mark IV from Fallout 4. And according to the Fallout Wiki, we learned that this is actually the Pip-Boy 3000 Mark V, a later version of the one from Fallout 4. We also learned from the Geiger counter built into the Pip-Boy that Monty is giving off 8.1 times 1000 rads per second. After taking care of Monty and going to pull the knife out of herself, Lucy runs into the bathroom and pulls out a med kit, and in that med kit we get our first look at the stim pack. The stim pack is used in all the video games as a healing item and does exactly what it does in the show. After Lucy leaves her room, she goes to the armory to see that it's been broken into and all the weapons are stolen. And for those eagle-eyed that were fast enough to hit the pause, you can see on the floor little bullets used in the Syringer rifle from Fallout 4. And Lucy actually grabs a pistol version of the Syringer off of the wall, and we also see other vault dwellers using this to fend off the raiders. When Chet is trying to close the door and is approached by one of the raiders, we see him pull out a red-looking inhaler. This is known as Jet, one of the many chems throughout the Fallout series that affect the player in different ways. More specifically, Jet increases the action points of the player, or AP, in Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas, and slows time in Fallout 4. Action points are used in the VATS system, V-A-T-S, but we'll learn more about that in Episode 2. After Hank has disposed of Monty in the pickle barrel, we see the projector has switched the screen to say, "Please stand by," in black and gray. Players from Fallout 3 will recognize this from the title sequence when the game is loading up the menus. Running out of the classroom to see the Knights of the Brotherhood in their T-60 power armor, we also get a glimpse of the Prydwen. This is the base of operations for the Brotherhood of Steel in Fallout 4. When Dane wakes up screaming from a razor blade going through their foot, we can see behind Maximus in the background that someone was reading an episode of Tesla Magazine. More specifically, this is the geckos and gamma radiation one, and when read, this increases the science skill of the player. This one is a little bit of an oopsie when Norm is distracting Davy so that Chet and Lucy can get the elevator up to the vault door. We see that he is trying to get some Nuka-Cola out of the machine. However, when you look into the machine, all the Nuka-Cola bottles are empty. When Maximus comes to visit Dane in the infirmary, we can see that laying next to them on the bed is a version of Guns and Bullets magazine. This specific issue, The Moon, a communist doomsday device, can be found in the Quincy ruins in Fallout 4. And it gives a 5% increase in critical damage on ballistic weapons when the player reads it. When Elder Quintus is giving the mission to the Knights of the Brotherhood and their squires, we hear a mention of the Enclave. The Enclave is a paramilitary group of high-ranking pre-war government and militant forces. They are intent of purifying the world of anyone who is not a human. They also believe anyone who is human and part of the Enclave to be superior to everyone that is not. When we see a description of the Enclave defector and his companion, gamers will notice the companion as Dogmeat. This specific model of Dogmeat is from Fallout 4, where he is a German Shepherd. When Honcho and friends go to dig up the ghoul, we see a guard standing outside a long concrete wall with a break in it. This is possibly a reference to the settlement, the Castle, in Fallout 4, where you defend with the Minutemen and possibly the Brotherhood of Steel against the Institute. The guard takes a babyfoot to the chest, and we see the debut of the junk jet in the show. This is a weapon from the games that uses junk items as ammunition. If you made it this far, thanks for watching. I put a ton of work into this, and I really appreciate it. I've put timestamps for the episode in the description for anyone that wants to go back and look at these items in freeze frame. And if you notice anything I missed, please leave a comment down below and like the video. I really appreciate it. And we'll see you next time for episode 2. Hey everyone, and welcome to episode 2 of Everything You Missed in Fallout, the series on Amazon Prime. I really appreciate you guys coming back for episode 2. I've gotten a lot of great feedback on the first episode from gamers and non-gamers alike, so I really appreciate you guys. So, without further ado, here's everything you missed in episode 2, The Target. When Wilzig is being scanned by security at the Enclave facility, we see a gurney get pushed by and a hand peeking out of the sheet. This is the hand of Super Mutant. Super mutants used to be humans like us, but they were created by being experimented on using the Forced Evolutionary Virus, or FEV, created by Westech to combat the new plague. Also, in the original Fallout game, the Master, the primary antagonist, succumbed to the FEV and believed it to be the solution for all of humanity. So, he created what we now know as super mutants. The Enclave also had a hand in it, wanting to use the FEV and, subsequently, the super mutants to purify the world of communism, as seen in the Whitespring logs in Fallout 76. Wandering through the wastes of LA, Lucy encounters an Assaultron buried in the sand. This was a war robot created by Robco and sold to the US government for use in frontline combat. They debuted in Fallout 4. When Lucy is sleeping next to the fire she created in the wasteland, we see the top of a Vault-Tec aluminum purified water bottle available only to those that were in the vaults. Dogmeat saves Lucy from one of the other mutated inhabitants of the post-nuclear war, a radroach, whose meat can be used for sustenance. Resting outside of the cave, Wilzig opens a can of Cram, a parody of the real-life canned meat Spam. Before we go see what's going on with Maximus and Titus, we see a wide shot of the coastline, and we get to see a crash Enclave vertibird in the sand. This is a reference to multiple vertibird crash sites throughout the series. Klamath Canyon in Fallout 2, found by the Chosen One, a crash vertibird in Fallout New Vegas where you can find a variant of the Tesla cannon, the Tesla Beaten prototype. This crash in Fallout New Vegas is actually a reference to the crash in Fallout 2 in Klamath Canyon. Even more, the crash is also referenced in Fallout 3 when talking to Novac resident Daisy Whitman, who piloted that vertibird that crashed in Klamath Canyon. She eventually left the Enclave to join a group of scavengers after the events of Fallout 2. Even more, Super Mutant companion Lily Bowen states that she found her weapon in a crashed vertibird site in Klamath Canyon. Exploring the cave, Maximus and Titus are attacked by a mutated bear known in the games as a Yaoguai. When the farmer is leaving his house to greet Lucy, he passes by some plants sitting on his lawn known as Tatos. Tatos were a mutagen combination of potatoes and tomatoes created to hopefully sustain life in the future. When Maximus steals the power armor from the dead knight Titus, we get a good look at the inside HUD, or heads-up display to those that aren't gamers, and it is similar to the one in Fallout 4. It shows radiation levels, power core life, weapon ammo, health, and action points. We can see later, after Maximus has all his fun, that he has used a quarter of the power core's life. We can also see later that his health has gone down and his radiation levels have gone up, possibly due to exposure to the Yaoguai and to the damage to his face. In the bustling market outside of Philly, we can see vendors selling different kinds of meat. We see stingwing, bloatfly, and dog. Stingwing are another mutated bug originating in Fallout 4 and being based off of scorpion flies. Bloatflies originated in Fallout 3 and are mutated versions of houseflies or horseflies depending on the variant that you encounter. Another vendor can be seen selling iguana on a stick, another food item from the video games. When Lucy enters Philly, we see a man sitting in a chair reading a book. This is from a series of books called The Wasteland Survival Guide and is issue number 5, A Guide to Diamond City. Diamond City is a main quest point in Fallout 4 and is a survival camp built around Fenway Park. The original series of guides were created by Moira Brown with the help of the Lone Wanderer in Fallout 3. With the quiet argument happening next to Lucy, we can see promotion posters for Sunset Sarsaparilla. Another result of radiation exposure, we get to see a two-headed cow being escorted through the middle of the city. This is known as a Brahmin. While walking through the town center, something catches Lucy's eye in the window of Ma June's. This is the Pip-Boy 2000 Mark VI from Fallout 76. Right behind the ghoul, we can see posters for the Queen of Nuka-Cola, Nuka Girl. Ma June's also has a ton of different things for sale, ranging from ammo to pre-war toys and gadgets. Most notably is a fully built Giddy-Up Buttercup toy. It was created by Wilson Automatoys in 2042, and it was a robotic horse that children could ride. However, it was only for rich families as it cost $16,000. There is a questline in Fallout 4 for Arlen Glass, the co-founder of Wilson Automatoys and the creator of the Giddy-Up Buttercup doll, who asks you to go out and find all the pieces so he can fully rebuild one last time. When approaching Ma June in her shop, Lucy passes by a Vault-Tec lunchbox. This is modeled after an item in Fallout 4 that when used gives the player a random item. On the magazine rack outside of Ma June's, there is a magazine for Robco Fun issue number 7, Atomic Command. When the magazine is collected in Fallout 76, the player also receives a holotape. Holotapes are little game cartridges that you can use to play video games on your Pip-Boy. The game Atomic Command is based off of the 1980 Atari classic Missile Command. When Wilzig and Lucy meet again, Wilzig lists off everything there is to know about Vault 33, and how he knows about the 3 interconnected vaults. This is the first time there's a reference to a non-Vault-Tec employee having knowledge of the vaults. When the ghoul is approaching Wilzig in the town center, we see in the background a yellow crate with the name Blamco across it. Blamco is a company that makes the mac and cheese shown throughout the series. Wilczek takes a shot to the ankle and his foot explodes. We learn that this is the LP-42 nuke gun from Fallout 4. It shoots mini nukes and it is found in the Nuka World DLC. However, the weapon in the show is modeled after the sawed-off MTS-255 Russian revolver shotgun. Easily taking down all the combatants in Philly, the world slows down and we follow the bullets to their destinations, seeing the carnage unfold in slow motion. This is a nod to VATS, the targeting system used throughout the series, and it stands for Vault-Tec Assisted Targeting System. This is used in the games to attack certain extremities, and based off of the skills with the weapon and the character, will deal a certain amount of damage towards those extremities. This damage can not only cripple, but destroy certain extremities on the body. As you build up a critical meter in the game, you can use that critical meter to do extra damage to certain extremities on the body, either blowing off an arm, a leg, or even the head. Action points, or AP, are required to use VATS and can be increased in Fallout 4 and Fallout 76 by leveling agility, one of your special skills. After shooting Ma June, the ghoul throws a handful of caps in the air for the tomatoes. Under Ma June's sales records, we can see issue number 4 of the Wasteland Survival Guide, the Scrapyard Home Decoration Guide. On the shelf behind Lucy, we see another Vault Boy bobblehead, this time with his arms crossed. This one was used for promotion for Fallout 4 as he is wearing a Vault 111 jumpsuit. We can also see a carton for Big Boss Cigarettes, a major pre-war cigarette company referenced in Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas. The counter below her hosts a copy of Grognak the Barbarian number 10, What Sorcery Is This? From Fallout 76. And for only 285 caps, you can own your very own junk jet. When Lucy shoots the ghoul with the sedative, he makes a comment and says, "That's a very small drop in a very large bucket of drugs." The reason he makes this comment is because ghouls need twice as much chems or alcohol to feel the effects as humans do. When fighting the ghoul, we can see that Maximus's power core level is at half. Trying to get another foot for Wilczek, we can see a large rack of magazines on the wall. They are the following: Wasteland Survival Guide issue number 2, Insect Repellent Special. Wasteland Survival Guide issue number 1, Farming the Wastes. Wasteland Survival Guide number 6, Commonwealth Coupon Spectacular. Wasteland Survival Guide number 9, Hunting in the Wastes. And Tales of Junktown Jerky Vendor number 3, The Art of Haggling. This is a book in Fallout 4 that when read increases the barter skill and is a reference to a town in Fallout 1. There is also a poster with a Mr. Handy using a Braxo cleaner, a foreshadowing for episode 4. An empty bottle of milk from Harrisburg Dairies can be seen on the counter. This company underwent real-world government testing in 1976 after a Chinese atomic weapons test spread radiation throughout the northeastern United States. Select food and beverage companies were tested for their radiation levels after this. After testing it, they found low to no levels of radiation in the dairy. Now, you might be wondering why they would test dairies, and that is because cows are good at vacuuming up fresh levels of radiation from landscaping when they eat grass. This could explain cows mutating into Brahmin after years of generational exposure to radiation. When Ma June types coordinates into Lucy's Pip-Boy, they don't actually lead anywhere in the real world. Where she ends up going are the coordinates 34.1184 degrees north, 118.3004 degrees west. When Maximus gets his leg stuck in the floor and the ghoul comes up behind him and slices the tube in his neck, we can see that both the head and that leg that are stuck are blinking red. This is an indication that these parts of the power armor are damaged. Back in Ma June's sundries, we can see a mini nuke in the display case along with a Vault-Tec party hat from Vault 76. Wilczek takes Vault-Tec Plan D, one of the 4 items that Vault-Tec created in the event of nuclear war. This one is a cyanide pill, used for those that couldn't afford plans A through C. In the Amazon Prime short, Follow Your Nose, we get to learn what plans A, B, and C were. Plan A was becoming a top-level executive at Vault-Tec, potentially being one of Bud's buds, reference to a later episode in Vault 31. Plan B is a pop-up above-ground shelter that looks like a tent that could potentially be blown away just by the blast of a nuclear bomb. And Plan C was hiding under a cardboard box, or absolutely nothing. The tool that Wilczek gives Lucy to cut his head off is a reference to the Ripper Sword from Fallout 4. If you made it this far, thanks for watching. If I missed anything in episode 2, go ahead and leave a comment, and please leave a like on the video. I put a lot of work into this, and I really appreciate it. And we'll see you next time for everything you missed in Fallout, the TV series. Hello everyone, and welcome back to Everything You Missed in Fallout, the TV series on Amazon Prime. Thank you for the continued support, and we're going to get right into it with episode 3, The Head. When Cooper and Emil walk out of the soundstage together, we can see a Roman chariot next to the craft services table. This, along with a man dressed as a Roman, are nods to Caesar's Legion from Fallout New Vegas, a direct foe of the NCR. The Legion are a totalitarian dictatorship built on enslavement and conquest. The ghoul starts coughing and brings out an M. Melacrino cigarette box. This is a vintage Egyptian cigarette box from the 1930s. These cigarettes are smoked by Norma in the 1950 film Sunset Boulevard, played by actress Gloria Swanson. Walking into the city of LA, we see the frame zoom out, with the dog walking next to the ghoul and the long road ahead of them. This is a reference to the Lone Wanderer in Fallout 3. Taking a short snack break, we see Lucy eating some yum-yum deviled eggs. Entering Philly next to Thaddeus dropping from the Vertibird, we see a logo for Poseidon Energy. This company is referenced in every single Fallout game going back to the first one, and is an umbrella corporation for all energy companies from gas to electric. They also held many Enclave members in high-ranking positions. Racing to the power armor to hide from Thaddeus, we can see that Maximus's power core is at 1/8 after fighting the ghoul in Philly. Towering high over the foggy wastes, we can see a billboard for Nuka-Cola. Down by the water, we can see a logo on a car and a truck for Sunset Sarsaparilla. Deep in the background over the flooded city, up high on a building, we can see a poster that says New Sheriff in Town. This is a voting poster from Vault 11. We get to see Lucy use her Pip-Boy yet again, and the Geiger counter shows that we are at 5 times 100 rads per second while in the water, which is actually lower than what Monty was at when he was in Vault 33. When Maximus is treating Thaddeus like Knight Titus treated him, we can see that his power core level is back at full. We can assume that this is probably because part of the responsibilities of a Brotherhood of Steel Squire is to maintain the power armor of their knight, and that Thaddeus brought a new power core with him when he dropped. As we go deeper into the water, we can see the Geiger counter hit at 8.2 times 100 rads per second, hitting Monty levels. During their long trek through the wastes, we can see that Maximus's power core is down to 75%. Back at everyone's favorite swimming hole, we catch a glimpse of a bloatfly hanging around a tree. The trek continues and Maximus's power core is down to 50%. We finally get to see the monster in the water, a Gulper, originating in the Fallout 4 DLC, Far Harbor. After saving Thaddeus by making the Gulper reverse gulp, we can see that Maximus's power core is down to 25%, and that the leg that the Gulper grabbed is damaged. Going back in time into the past, we can see Cooper on set yet again, walking past another member of Caesar's Legion. See this guy? Remember this guy. We'll talk about him later. When Cooper is cycling through poses during his photo shoot with Vault-Tec, we get to see the origin of the Vault Boy thumbs up. If you made it this far, thanks for watching. If you noticed anything that I missed, please leave a comment. I'd love to hear from you. And we'll see you next time for everything you missed in Fallout with episode 4. Hello everyone, and welcome back to Everything You Missed in Fallout, the TV series. Thank you for the continued support. We're going to get right into it with episode 4, The Ghouls. When we're going sunning in the wasteland, we can see a Radroach climbing on a windowsill. Checking in with Roger, he states, "Getting smoothies can be so unkind," which is a reference to humans that are not ghoulified, otherwise known as smoothskins. Finally approaching their destination, we see Lucy and the ghoul outside of a Super Duper Mart. This is this world's version of Costco, offering a 10% off membership card. When Snip Snip is escorting Lucy back to get fixed up, we can see a shelf stocked to the brim with Rad-X. Rad-X is a medicine in the games used as a preventative measure for radiation poisoning. Norm is doing some research on the terminal, and we can see a special poster hanging on the wall to his right. Chet and Norm's exploration of Vault 32 shows that all the inhabitants are gone. If there was any doubt, this Vault Dweller's Pip-Boy shows that all the extremities are damaged. On Lucy's trip to trade with Huey and Squirrel, we can see behind their TV a box of Fancy Lad snack cakes. This is this world's version of Little Debbie cakes. When Lucy is being rolled back to complete her side of the trade with Huey and Squirrel, she is rolled underneath a sign for Nuka-Cola variant, Nuka Cherry. After her tough decision with Martha, Lucy falls back into the table that Huey and Squirrel were using to store all of their chems. We can see on the table Radaway and Med-X. Med-X is used as a temporary boost to the user's health in the Fallout games. On the desk of 32's Overseer, we can see a bottle of Economy Wonder Glue. This is a very useful crafting item in Fallout 4. When Lucy gets out of the Super Duper Mart alive, she leaves the ghoul with a handful of vials. These aren't just any vials, they are refills for a drug called the Fix. This drug is used in Fallout 76 to reverse the ghoulification process and in the TV show to stop ghouls from becoming feral. When Lucy is venturing off into the dilapidated city of LA, we get to see a crashed vertibird. If you made it this far, thanks for watching. If you noticed anything I missed, please leave a comment. I'd love to hear from you. And we'll see you next time with everything you missed in Fallout the TV series with episode 5. Hello everyone and welcome back to Everything You Missed in Fallout the TV series on Amazon Prime. Thank you for the continued support. We're going to get right into it with episode 5, The Past. When recounting the story of their legendary fight with the Gulper, we can see that Maximus's power core is back to full and that the damage to his leg is healed. However, the radiation he sustained remains. After the return of their fun-filled trip to Vault 32, they are stopped by Betty, and Norm comes up with the excuse that they were planting Taytos. Lucy and Maximus's trip down the train tracks lets us see the damage to Lucy's limbs. Specifically, we can see the damage to her head, shown on her Pip-Boy screen by the bandage wrapped around it. When Norm is researching past Overseer elections, we get a glimpse into the past Overseers of Vault 33. There were 9 over the last 196 years. Robert Olson from 2101 to 2109, Ava West from 2109 to 2121, George Yaffe from 2121 to 2125. The frame cuts away so we do not know who came right after them. Patricia Peters, whose run as Overseer is unknown. Alexander Bomer, whose run is also unknown. Lawrence Ronald, whose run is also unknown. And Hank McLean, who served as the longest Overseer from 2271 to 2297. We later learn that Betty Pearson is elected Overseer and currently serves as Overseer of Vault 33. Remember our suited friends from Vault-Tec that helped Cooper with his Vault-Tec commercial? Well, one of those was George Yaffe. He served as Overseer for Vault 33 from 2121 to 2125. However, he might not have been that good, only serving 4 years or what's presumably 1 term as Overseer. When Maximus saves himself and Lucy on the railroad tracks, she asks him why he killed the 2 people. He states it's because they were fiends. Fiends are chem-addicted raiders in Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas. While visiting Steph in chat, we can see behind Norm an issue of the Massachusetts Surgical Journal, number 16, Let's Play Doctor. With her beliefs brought into question by the Shady Sands billboard, Maximus explains to Lucy that other civilizations rose up that didn't take place outside the vaults post-war. Shady Sands was formed in 2142, 165 years after the bombs fell, and later became capital of the New California Republic, or NCR, in 2189. Shady Sands was founded by Vault 15 dwellers who left 20 years after their vault was overcrowded and brought with them their GECK, or Garden of Eden creation kit. Each vault was given one of these so that they could eventually leave their vault and create a new civilization post-war. Lucy references Reclamation Day, which is the day that the vault dwellers get to leave with their GECK and go found a new civilization on the surface, restarting humanity. However, in the game Fallout 76, Reclamation Day started in the year 2102. Actually, probably before it, because by the time you wake up in your vault, everyone is gone. If you made it this far, thanks for watching. If you noticed anything I missed, please leave a comment. I'd love to hear from you. And we'll see you next time in Everything That You Missed in Fallout the TV series with episode 6. Hello everyone and welcome back to Everything You Missed in Fallout the TV series on Amazon Prime. Thanks for the continued support. We're going to get right into it with episode 6, The Trap. If you want to reserve your very own spot in a vault, just call the number on the screen, 213-25-VAULT or 213-258-2858, and you'll get a very special message. But hold the phone pretty far away from your ear because it's going to be loud. This is what you hear if you dial the phone number for Vault-Tec. And then they hang right up. While speaking with Bud Askins after his commercial for Vault 4, Cooper learns that Bud Askins worked for Westech, who developed the power armor, specifically the version that he wore in the Battle of Anchorage, the T-45D. Cooper's newspaper shows an article for New Nuka, otherwise known as Nuka-Cola, which debuted in the Fallout 4 DLC, Nuka World. This mirrors the Coca-Cola Company's attempt at a rebrand back in 1985 with New Coke. However, this is looked at as one of the biggest marketing fails to date because the new formula was heavily criticized by consumers. This resulted in Coke re-releasing their old formula as Classic Coke. When Cooper sets down the newspaper to re-enter the party at his house, we see an article for a lawsuit against Wilson Atomic Toys for their Giddy Up Buttercup toy. It's lunchtime in Vault 4, and Lucy and Maximus are enjoying some Blamco brand mac and cheese. In an attempt to keep Maximus in Vault 4, Birdie gives him his very own Pip-Boy to a room that has a welcome basket in it. It contains the following: Bram Sugar Bombs, Fancy Lad Snack Cakes, Blamco brand mac and cheese, Yum Yum deviled eggs, and Vault-Tec purified water, as well as some caviar, oysters, and some mixed nuts. In the Vault 4 classroom, we see a timeline of Shady Sands up on the chalkboard. 2142, it is founded. 2189, the NCR is formed. 2198, Shady Sands becomes capital of the NCR. 2241, the NCR reaches its peak power. And 2297, Shady Sands is destroyed. This entire classroom scene is underscored by the Fallout 4 main title theme by Einon Zur. When the ghoul is brought to the sheriff's office, we see a ton of wanted posters behind him. One of them is a sketch of a super mutant. When Dr. Edmondson hears an intruder in the lab, he breaks the glass of a weapon. This is the harpoon gun, originating in the Fallout 4 DLC, Far Harbor. If you made it this far, thanks for watching. If you noticed anything I missed, please leave a comment. I'd love to hear from you. We'll see you next time for everything you missed in Fallout the TV series on Amazon Prime with Episode 7. Hello everyone, and welcome back to Everything You Missed in Fallout the TV series on Amazon Prime. Thanks for the continued support. We're going to get right into it with Episode 7, The Radio. The treasure hunter is wearing a very cool but very familiar outfit out in the wastes. This is the NCR combat armor, famously on the cover of Fallout New Vegas. Right outside of the Red Rocket gas station, we can see a yellow contraption. This is a power armor station. It's used in Fallout 4 and Fallout 76 to repair and modify your power armor. When being banished from Vault 4 by Overseer Benjamin, Lucy gets a care package with 2 weeks worth of food. It includes Instamash, Nuka-Cola, Blamco mac and cheese, Sunset Sarsaparilla, and Fancy Lad snack cakes. While Thaddeus is dragging his feet through the wastes, literally, we can hear an instrumental strings version of Radio Freedom by Heather MacArthur. Heather MacArthur is known for doing music through Fallout 3 and Fallout 4, and Radio Freedom is a reference to the Minutemen in Fallout 4. Cooper is contemplating bugging his wife's Pip-Boy over an issue of Tesla Science Magazine number 7, U.S. Army Goes to Space. By the fire, CX-404 is trying to comfort the ghoul when he is remembering his life prior to the war. The ghoul comments, "Sorry, dog meat, you just ain't him," making a reference to the dog's name in Fallout 4. Norm wants answers, and what better way than hacking an Overseer terminal? The layout we see on his screen is an emulator of the Fallout 4 hack screen, including your attempts and ways to remove dud passwords. If you made it this far, thanks for watching. If you noticed anything I missed, please leave a comment. I'd love to hear from you. And we'll see you next time with everything that you missed in Fallout the TV series on Amazon Prime with Episode 8. Hello everyone, and welcome back to Everything You Missed in Fallout the TV series on Amazon Prime. Thank you for the continued support. We're going to get right into it with the final episode, Episode 8, The Beginning. As Maximus is being brought back to the Brotherhood of Steel, we yet again get to see their base of operations above Philly, the Prydwen. When Cooper is dropping his wife off at work at Vault-Tec headquarters, we can see outside sweeping a Protectron. Protectrons were built by the company Rodco Industries and were sold inexpensively to consumers for whatever they may desire to use them for. Norm's foray into Vault 31 shows a brain on a Roomba as it's credited. This is actually a variant of a RoboBrain. However, usually they have a full body with tank track legs to navigate around the world. They originated in Fallout 4. We have one of our biggest Easter eggs in the whole season shown in this underground Vault-Tec meeting where all the investors of these major companies come together. The leader of Rodco, Robert House, will be important later. West-Tec is known for creating the power armor as well as their research into the Forced Evolutionary Virus, or FEV, which, if you don't recall, was what created super mutants. Big MT, or Big Mountain Research, was a defense contractor known for their research into the spores and subsequent mutations in Vault 22. They debuted in the Fallout New Vegas DLCs. Repcon was an aerospace systems company that also built weapons for the US government in their war against China. Run in flashbacks by CFO Julia Masters, they were eventually bought out by Robert House's company Rodco in 2075. Which makes it interesting that they represent themselves at this meeting as they are actually under the umbrella of Rodco. Robert House makes a comment to another leader of one of the investors that they could lose money running a casino. This is funny because he actually runs the New Vegas Strip in Fallout New Vegas.
A few minutes later, House makes another reference, this time to the documentary playing on the TV in Vault 32 about the rats eating each other. When Norm finally figures out the secret of Vault 31 and is told about Bud's buds, we get to see Betty Pearson's cryopod. She entered cryostasis October 20th, 2077, and was released from it February 16th, 2266, and entered Vault 33 shortly thereafter. We can also see that Hank McClane entered his cryostasis October 23rd, 2077, the day that the bombs fell, and was reactivated August 8th, 2268, 2 years after Betty was. Barb's pitch to the investors, stating that they could each have a handful, shows a huge map spread all over the United States, with a couple more vaults in Canada and Mexico. To date, the Fallout games themselves have actually only explored vaults in the northeastern portion of the United States, specifically in the Commonwealth, formerly known as Massachusetts, in Nevada in the areas of New Vegas and New Reno, formerly Las Vegas and Reno, and in the greater Los Angeles area. As the investors start throwing out ideas for the vaults that they are going to purchase, we hear a few that actually ended up coming to light in the games. Big MT pitches a vault that is purposely overcrowded. This is a reference to Vault 27, shown in the Fallout Bible. Repcon pitches a vault run by robots. This eventually became Vault 51 and Fallout 76. Westech offers research into the eventual FEV. This is a reference to Vault 87 in Fallout 4, which eventually becomes overrun by the experiments of super mutants and centaurs. Big MT is back with another great idea of drugging their vault dwellers by pumping psychotropic drugs into the air vents. This is a reference to Fallout 3's Vault 106. But Repcon has to counterback with their own great idea of separating parents from their children in Fallout 4's Vault 75. What we don't see reference to, but is important later, is Vault 21. Vault 21 was eventually taken over by Rob Coe, specifically Robert House, when he built his New Vegas strip. We get a glimpse of a young Betty Pearson introducing a young Hank McClane to Cooper. Betty makes a great reference to the taglines for Fallout 3 and Fallout 4, that war never changes. The code that Hank enters to start the cold fusion reactor is 101097. This is a reference to the release date for the original Fallout game of October 10th, 1997. Norm gives us a nice peek at one of the pages of the list of Bud's buds, and we get to see a few familiar names, specifically some of the past overseers of Vault 33. Patricia Peters, Alexander Bomer, Lawrence Ronald, Ian Jackson, who may have been overseer of 33 prior to Patricia Peters, Betty Pearson, and Hank McClane, as well as Stephanie Harper, one of the dwellers of Vault 33. The other names of Bud's buds listed on the page are just random names and are not known references to anything in the Fallout lore. When the Brotherhood of Steel's Vertibird is being attacked by Moldaver's NCR forces, we can see a Nuka-Cola bobblehead on the dashboard. There's actually no video game equivalent to this, as it is unique to the series. However, this could be a reference to the Nuka-Cola mascot from Nuka World. Trekking to his destination after escaping Moldaver and the NCR forces, Hank passes a Deathclaw skull. These are one of the deadliest enemies in all of the Wastes. Hank finally reaches a hilltop overlooking his destination, and we see one of the biggest and most recognizable cities in all of the Fallout games. This is New Vegas. And our world just got a whole lot bigger. If you made it this far, thanks for watching. If you noticed anything I missed, please leave a comment. I'd love to hear from you. That was everything you missed in Season 1 of Amazon Prime Video's Fallout the TV series. But don't go anywhere yet, because we're going to have another video showing everything you might see in Fallout Season 2. And we'll see you in the Wastes.